Hey everybody, so let's say that you've just gotten home from a voice lesson and you have a recording of that lesson. How are you going to practice with it? That's what we're going to talk about today. So you've gotten home, you've got that recording with you, you're ready to practice. What do? Number one thing to do first is just listen to the recording. Don't sing yet. Get a sense of what you sound like to your audience. What do you sound like on the outside? Have you ever listened to yourself on a voicemail and been surprised that, wow, my voice sounds higher on this recording than it sounds like to me when I'm talking every day? That's pretty normal if you feel that way. The reason why that happens is because the recording or the audience only gets to hear the sound waves as they come out of your mouth and they bounce off of walls and the floor and such. However, when you're talking or when you're singing, you hear with your outer ear the same sound waves on the outside, but you also hear with your inner ear sound waves inside your body, moving through your throat and mouth and being conducted through the bones of your body, especially your skull. And so as a result, often sounds inside of us can sound a little bit more muffled, a little bit deeper. Get a sense though of what your voice sounds like on the outside. So number one, listen through the recording. And I suggest that you listen through that lesson right away when you get home so that you still have a fresh memory inside of what the lesson was like. Let me give you an example. With my teacher many years ago, he asked me to do an exercise. He asked me to do this nay, 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 but to do it with more of my natural voice, less of a nay, 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 which is this funny, we call it a pharyngeal voice that sometimes we will pair with that exercise. But this time he didn't want that. So I did, okay, fine. Nay, 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 nay. There's my normal voice. To which he said, no, that is that funny voice, that nasty voice. That is pharyngeal, what you're doing for me. I said, no, it's not. That's my normal voice. Okay, I'll try it again. Nay, 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 nay. Nope, that is still a unnatural voice. That is using that pharyngeal funny sound. To which I finally said, okay, fine, nay, 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 which to me sounded kind of dumb and dopey. My teacher said, perfect, that is more of your natural, finished voice going on there. I didn't believe him. Back in those days, because it was the Stone Age, we recorded lessons to CDs. So immediately when I got out to the car, I put in the CD. I had the memory still inside of what it had sounded like to me, how I had perceived it as I did it in the moment. I listened back to the recording, and what do you know? It sounded like my normal, natural voice, like if I was saying neighbor. Nay, 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 hey neighbor. It sounded more like that, even though I remembered it as being kind of dumb and dopey when I had done it. On the outside, things sound different than on the inside. Let's say now you've listened through the lesson. What's the next thing to do? Well, now you can start singing along with the recording, but keep in mind, this is not just a warm-up recording to just mindlessly sing through without paying attention. What I want you to do is I want you to listen to what the teacher says. Listen to what the goal of the lesson is. Listen to what the plan is. How are we going to get you to that goal? How have we taken larger skills that we're aiming to get, and how have we broken up those larger skills into smaller bite-sized skills, bite-sized goals that step by step we're going to pursue. Once you've listened to that and you have a clear understanding of what you're aiming for in your practice, then listen to any instructions that the teacher gives as to what specifically to do with each exercise, if there is an instruction. So for instance, for me, I listened to my teacher. He said, I want you to do this nay, but I didn't really compute that he didn't want it with that nasty, funny pharyngeal sound, or at least I thought I was doing it without that. It's not just doing the exercises, it's how you do the exercises. It's not just turning on the recording and then watching TV while you mama while you do these exercises and hoping that some sort of good comes from it. It's about deliberate practice, which means really paying attention to how you do the exercises, listening back, maybe recording your practice sometimes, listening back to see if you're getting better. Are you getting closer to those mini goals that you and your teacher have set up? Pay attention to what you're doing, because it's not just a warm-up, it's a workout with targeted exercises that if you do the exercises the way they're designed to be done, you will improve. All right, so number one, right away when you get home, listen through the lesson. Number two, then sing along with the exercises in the lesson, but paying special attention to how you're supposed to do the exercises and what is the goal that you're working toward. Number three, after you've been practicing with this for a few days, singing along to the recording, then give that lesson another listen through. Meaning, don't sing along with it this time. 3 or 4 days later, this time listen through again. The benefit of doing this is now 3 or 4 days have elapsed, your memories have faded a bit, some distance has been created between your lesson and that day, and so now you can be more objective about what you hear. Now you can listen to yourself in that lesson more like what an audience member would hear. In other words, they can't feel what you're feeling, they can't hear what's in your head, they can only hear what's coming out. And so again, it may surprise you what you were doing and feeling and thinking, and your preconceptions as you were in the lesson may not actually be what is truly out there objectively when you listen back. Often, when I am singing my best, inside those sounds can sometimes sound to me or feel to me a little bit small or a little bit weak. But when I listen back, especially a few days later, without any preconceptions, just objectively, I'm often surprised how big the sound is. It's easy, it's resonant, it's full, and yet I, on the day, felt like it was small, light, not putting enough effort into it, not giving my all. And so again, this is the difference between what you're feeling and hearing, which is very important, but also sometimes can be misleading. Or sometimes you might be judging and editing what you're doing and saying, that's not good enough. In order for me to sing well, it has to be powerful, it has to be strong, I have to feel like I'm really giving her, versus what may actually come out. If you use some of these tips that we talked about today, you should see step-by-step growth in your voice. You should see results because you're actually aiming for something and then measuring the results, measuring the growth step by step. Somebody said, if you aim for nothing, you're going to hit it every time. This is why it's so important for you to have goals, large goals, medium goals, and small goals that step by step work towards those larger goals, and then for you to actually, with your teacher, measure the results. See how far along that path you actually are getting. So until next time, keep up the practice, keep the faith.